The room went silent when Robert Carter looked at his daughter and said, "Maya, maybe it is time you stopped pretending this little project is going somewhere." Maya stood near the dining table. She did not answer. Her older brother, Daniel, sat beside their mother with a proud smile. Robert picked up his glass and leaned back. "Daniel has a real business," he said. "He has employees. He has clients. He has a future." Then he looked at Maya. "What do you have?" Maya lowered her eyes for a moment. Linda laughed softly. "She has her little computer project." Daniel laughed too. Robert shook his head. "Honestly, Maya, you have always been the dumb one in this family." The words hit harder than they should have. Not because they were new. Because they were familiar. Maya had heard them in different forms for most of her life. She had been 8 when Daniel won a school science award. Her parents had taken him out for dinner. Maya had spent that same evening drawing a small machine she wanted to build. When she showed it to her father, he barely looked at it. "That is nice, sweetheart," he had said. Then he turned back to Daniel. Years later, Daniel became the child everyone talked about. He was confident. He spoke loudly. He knew how to impress people. Maya was different. She was quiet. She liked numbers. She spent hours working on ideas that other people did not understand. Her parents saw that as a weakness. They thought quiet meant uncertain. They thought careful meant slow. And they thought her strange ideas were proof that she was not smart enough to succeed. Maya had stopped trying to change their minds years ago. But tonight was different. Because she had something they knew nothing about. Something worth more than they could imagine. She had a business. Not a little computer project. Not a hobby. A real company. And that company was about to be bought. For millions. Maya looked around the dining room. Her parents were still talking about Daniel. They had no idea that earlier that afternoon, Maya had received an email from the company that wanted to buy her business. She had read the number 3 times. $47 million. $47 million. The number still did not feel real. But Maya had not told anyone. Not even her closest friend. Because she knew exactly what would happen if her family found out. They would suddenly believe in her. They would suddenly remember every time they had supported her. And they would want something. Maya had learned that lesson the hard way. Robert placed his glass down. "Daniel needs money for his expansion," he said. Maya looked at him. "How much?" "Enough to make a difference." Daniel smiled. "I only need a temporary loan." Maya knew Daniel's business was struggling. She had heard rumors about unpaid bills and angry employees. But nobody had asked her directly before. Until tonight. Robert leaned forward. "You have savings." Maya remained quiet. Daniel looked at her. "You don't really need it." Maya almost laughed. He had no idea how much money she had. And he certainly had no idea what was coming. "I worked for that money," Maya said calmly. Daniel rolled his eyes. "Here we go again." Robert's face hardened. "Family helps family." Maya looked at him. "And when has this family helped me?" The room became quiet. Linda frowned. "What is that supposed to mean?" Maya looked at her mother. "It means I paid for my own college." Linda opened her mouth. "It means I paid my own rent when I moved out." Maya's voice remained calm. "And when I started my company, none of you believed in it." Robert waved his hand. "We were trying to protect you." "From what?" "From failure." Maya smiled sadly. "I was never afraid of failure." She looked at Daniel. "I was afraid of becoming like him." Daniel's smile disappeared. Robert stood up. "That is enough." Maya did not move. Robert pointed toward the door. "If you cannot support your brother, then perhaps you should stop expecting this family to support you." Maya looked at him for several seconds. Then she nodded. "Okay." Robert seemed surprised. He had expected an argument. Instead, Maya picked up her bag. Linda looked disappointed. Believing that I was worse. "Maya, don't be dramatic." Then she left. "I'm not. The night air was cold. Toward the door. Maya walked to her car and sat behind the wheel. You really think you are better than everyone now? She did nothing. Maya stopped. Then her phone vibrated. She turned around. She looked at the screen. Her eyes met his. It was another email. Final acquisition documents ready. Maya opened it. The message confirmed that the company had approved the final offer. The amount was exactly what she had seen earlier. $47 million. Her hands began to shake. Not because she was scared. Because after years of being told she was not good enough, someone had finally placed a value on the thing she had built. And it was enormous. But Maya did not celebrate. Instead, she thought about her family. She knew what would happen if they found out. Her father would say he had always known she could succeed. Her mother would say she had only been hard on Maya because she cared. Daniel would probably ask for money. Maya closed the email. She decided to keep the news private. At least for now. She drove home. Her small apartment was quiet. She made tea and sat at her desk. On the wall was a photograph from 5 years earlier. It showed Maya sitting alone at a tiny desk. Her laptop was open. There were notebooks everywhere. That was the night she had written the first lines of code for her company. She remembered calling her parents afterward. Her father had laughed. "Don't waste your time." Her mother had said, "Maybe find a normal job." Daniel had joked, "Maya is going to become a billionaire." Everyone had laughed. Even Maya had laughed. But she had kept working. Night after night. Month after month. She had failed. Started again. Failed again. Started again. She had almost given up more than once. But she never stopped. And now a major company wanted everything she had built. Maya reached for the photograph. She looked at the younger version of herself. "You were not dumb," she whispered. Her phone suddenly rang. Maya looked at the screen. It was her father. She almost ignored it. Then she answered. "Hello." Robert's voice was cold. "We need to talk." Maya frowned. "About what?" There was a short pause. Then he said something that made her sit up straight. "We heard about your company." Maya's heart stopped. She said nothing. Robert continued. "Daniel says it may be worth a lot of money." Maya stared at the wall. "How did you hear that?" Robert ignored the question. "We are your parents. You should have told us." Maya's grip tightened around the phone. "You didn't ask." "That is not the point." "What is the point?" Robert's voice changed. It became softer. Almost friendly. "We want to help you." Maya almost smiled. After years of calling her foolish, they suddenly wanted to help. She knew better. There was something else behind the call. Something they had not said yet. Robert cleared his throat. "Your mother and I have been talking." Maya waited. "And we think this could be a very good opportunity for the whole family." Maya's eyes narrowed. "The whole family?" "Yes." Another pause. Then Robert said the words Maya had been expecting. "Daniel needs capital for his business." Maya closed her eyes. Of course. They had not called because they were proud of her. They had called because they wanted her money. But Robert was not finished. "There is one more thing," he said. Maya opened her eyes. "What?" Robert took a breath. "Daniel already made plans based on the money you are going to receive." Maya froze. "Plans?" "Yes." "What kind of plans?" Robert did not answer immediately. Then he said, "He thinks you will give him at least $10 million. Maya stared into the darkness outside her window. $10 million. Her brother had already decided how to spend money that was not even his. And suddenly, Maya understood something. Her family did not believe she was dumb because she had failed. They believed she was dumb because they thought she would never realize what they were doing. Maya slowly smiled. For the first time that night, she felt completely calm. "Dad," she said softly. "Yes." "You should tell Daniel to stop making plans." Robert laughed. "You are being emotional." The next morning, "No," Maya woke up before her alarm. "I'm being careful." She had barely slept. She ended the call. Not because of the $47 million. The acquisition email again. That number still felt unreal, $47 million figure no longer filled her screen. What
Maya
kept her
stared at
awake
it
was
for a
one
long
sentence
moment.
from her father.
Her family thought
Daniel
they knew
already
her.
made plans.
They thought she
based
was
on the
still
money.
the quiet girl
$10
who
million
would accept whatever they
He
gave
had
her.
never asked
They
her.
were wrong.
He had
And they
simply
were about to
decided.
learn just how
Maya
wrong they
sat
had
on the edge
been.
of her bed and stared at the floor. For years, she had tried to understand why her family treated Daniel differently. Now she finally understood. They had never seen her as someone who could build something of her own. They had seen her as a backup plan. If Daniel needed money, Maya would provide it. If Daniel made a mistake, Maya would help fix it. If Daniel failed, the family would somehow expect Maya to save him. But that morning, something inside Maya changed. She decided she would not explain herself anymore. She would let them show everyone who they really were. At 9 o'clock, Maya arrived at her office. It was not a large office. Her company still had only 14 employees. There were no expensive cars outside. No giant sign on the building. Nothing about the place suggested that a company had just received a $47 million acquisition offer. That was exactly how Maya liked it. She walked inside and found her business partner, Ethan, waiting for her. He looked worried. "We have a problem," he said. Maya put her bag down. "What happened?" Ethan handed her a folder. "One of our investors wants to delay the final meeting." Maya opened the folder. "Why?" "He says there are questions about the company's ownership." Maya looked up. "Ownership?" Ethan nodded. He received a message claiming Daniel Carter helped create the original business concept. Maya froze. For a moment, she said nothing. Then she closed the folder. "Who sent the message?" "We don't know." Maya walked toward the window. She looked down at the street. Cars moved through the morning traffic. People were going to work. People were buying coffee. Nobody knew that one message could destroy years of work. Then Maya noticed something. The message had included an old document. A document from the first year of her company. She knew exactly where it had come from. Only 3 people had ever had access to that file. Maya, Ethan, and Daniel. She turned around. Did Daniel ever have access to our early files? Ethan hesitated. Not directly. Not directly. He visited the office once. You were not here. He said he was waiting for you. Maya's stomach tightened. When? About 3 years ago. Maya remembered that day. Daniel had called her afterward. He had said he was proud of her. At the time, she had believed him. Now she wondered why he had really come. Before she could say anything, her phone rang. It was her mother. Maya almost ignored it. But she answered. "Hello." Linda sounded upset. "Your father is very angry." Maya sat down. "Why?" "Because of what happened last night." Maya said nothing. Linda continued. "He thinks you are being disrespectful." "I only told him the truth." "You embarrassed your father." "He asked me for money." "He is your father." Maya closed her eyes. There it was again. Family. That word had always been used when they wanted something from her. Linda sighed. "You need to understand something. Daniel is in a difficult position. So am I." "You don't understand." "I understand perfectly." "No, Maya. You have always been stubborn." Maya looked toward the office door. Several employees were working outside. "I am not giving Daniel $10 million. Linda's voice became sharp. "You don't even have the money yet." Maya paused. Her mother had just said something important. "How do you know that?" Silence. Maya's expression changed. "Mom." Linda did not answer. "How do you know the money has not arrived yet?" "I just assumed." "No." Maya's voice became quiet. "You didn't assume." Linda hung up. Maya stared at the phone. Her heart began beating faster. Someone had told her mother details about the deal. Details that Maya had never shared. She looked at Ethan. "Did you tell anyone about the offer?" "No." "Are you sure?" Ethan looked offended. "Absolutely." Maya
He
nodded.
looked relaxed.
She did not
Almost
accuse him.
confident.
Not yet.
Maya knew immediately
that afternoon,
he had not come
Maya
to
received
apologize.
another surprise.
Daniel smiled.
Daniel showed up
Can
at her
we talk?
office. He walked
Maya
in
stayed
wearing an
behind her
expensive
desk.
suit. You have 5 minutes. He sat down. I heard there was a problem with the company. Maya looked at him. Who told you? Daniel shrugged. People talk. Maya said nothing. Daniel leaned forward. I want to help. Maya almost laughed. Help? Yes. He pulled a document from his briefcase. I spoke to an attorney. Maya looked at the document. What is this? It explains my contribution to the original idea. Maya stared at him. Daniel smiled. You remember those early conversations, right? Maya slowly shook her head. You didn't create this company. I never said I created the whole company. Then what are you saying? Daniel leaned back. I'm saying I deserve a share. Maya looked at the document again. It contained several notes. Some of them were similar to ideas Maya had written years earlier. But something was wrong. The dates were wrong. Very wrong. Maya looked at Daniel. Where did you get this? My old files. No. Daniel's smile faded. You were not even working on this when these documents were created. That is not true. I have copies of everything. Daniel stood. So do I. He walked toward the door. Then he stopped. You should think carefully, Maya. She looked at him. About what? If the acquisition company believes I helped create the idea, they could delay the deal. Maya's face remained calm. Daniel smiled. And if the deal falls apart, nobody gets the $47 million. He walked out. Maya sat alone. For the first time, the money did not feel like a reward. It felt like a target. Someone wanted to take it. And that someone was her own brother. Later that evening, Maya stayed at the office. She went through every old file. Every email. Every notebook. Every message. She searched for the original documents. Then she found something. An old cloud backup from 6 years earlier. Inside was a folder she had forgotten about. The folder contained photographs of her first handwritten plans. Maya opened the first photograph. Then the second. Then the third. Every idea was dated. Every page had her handwriting. But there was something else. At the bottom of one page was a small note. Discussed with Daniel, he thinks the idea is too complicated. Maya remembered that conversation. She had shown Daniel the idea. He had laughed. He had told her nobody would ever use it. She had continued anyway. Maya smiled faintly. Then she opened another file. Her smile disappeared. It was an old email. It had been sent from Daniel's account. The email was addressed to someone Maya did not recognize. The subject line read, Maya's project. Maya opened it. The message was short. Daniel had written that Maya was working on something valuable. He had asked the person to keep an eye on her progress. Maya read it twice. Why would Daniel have done that? She searched for the name of the recipient. Then she recognized it. It belonged to a former consultant who had worked with Daniel's business. A man who now worked for one of the investors questioning Maya's ownership. Maya slowly leaned back. This was no longer about Daniel wanting $10 million. He had been watching her company. Maybe for years. Her phone suddenly buzzed. A new message appeared. It was from an unknown number. There was only one sentence. If Maya refuses to cooperate, make sure the acquisition never happens. Maya stared at the screen. Her hands went cold. She read the message again. Then another message arrived. This one contained a photograph. Maya opened it. It showed her parents sitting at a restaurant with Daniel. Across the table sat the same consultant whose name appeared in her old email. The photograph had been taken that afternoon. Maya slowly placed the phone on the desk. Her parents were involved. Her brother was involved. And now someone inside the acquisition process might be involved too. For years, Maya had believed her family simply underestimated her. Now she realized something much worse. They had been watching her. and they had already started planning what to do with her success. Maya looked at the $47 million offer on her computer screen. Then she looked at the photograph again. For the first time, she was no longer thinking about proving her family wrong. She was thinking about protecting everything she had built. And before she could make another move, her office door opened. Ethan stood there. His face was pale. Maya stared at Ethan. He said quietly.
"What do you mean?"
She turned around. Ethan closed the door and walked slowly toward her desk.
Ethan closed the door behind
Daniel
him.
didn't leak the
Then he
documents.
said something that
made
again.
her blood run
Maya
cold.
felt a cold weight in
Daniel
her
wasn't
chest.
the person who
Then
leaked
who
the
did?
documents. Ethan did not answer immediately. He looked nervous. Finally, he placed his phone on the desk. "I found something this morning." Maya looked at the screen. It showed an email. The sender was one of the company's senior advisors. Maya recognized the name. Victor Hale. Victor had been involved with the company for almost 2 years. He had helped connect Maya with investors and had always acted like he believed in her. "What does this say?" Maya asked. Ethan pointed to the screen. Victor had sent a message to an outside attorney. The message said that Maya's company had an ownership dispute and that the acquisition should be delayed until the matter was settled. Maya read it twice. But why would Victor do this? Ethan shook his head. "I don't know." Maya stood up. "Where is he?" "He left the building an hour ago." Maya looked at the photograph on her desk. Her parents, Daniel, Victor, all sitting together. Suddenly, the picture made sense. But one question remained. Why? Why would Victor risk a $47 million deal? Maya opened another email. This one was from the acquisition company. The message was short. "Final approval has been suspended pending legal review." Her heart sank. The deal was no longer certain. The $47 million that had seemed so close now felt like it was disappearing. Ethan sat down. "We can fight this." Maya looked at him. "With what?" "The documents." "They have their own documents. We have the originals." "Do we?" Ethan became quiet. Maya noticed his expression. "What?" He looked away. "Maya, there is something else." Her voice became softer. "What?" "Some of the original files are missing." Maya felt her stomach tighten. "How many?" "About 30. 30. Ethan nodded. "Most of them are from the first 2 years." Maya walked toward the storage cabinet. She opened it. Several folders were gone. Her old notebooks were still there. But the digital backups were missing. Someone had taken them. Someone who knew exactly what they were looking for. Maya sat down. For years, she had protected the company by keeping everything organized. Every contract, every idea, every meeting, every change. Now someone had carefully removed the files that could prove she owned the business. She looked at Ethan. Who had access? 4 people. Names. Ethan gave them to her. Maya recognized all 4. One was Victor. One was Ethan. One was the office manager. And the 4th was someone Maya had never suspected. Her own mother. Maya froze. "My mother?" Ethan nodded. "She came here once last month." Maya remembered. Linda had said she was proud of her. She had brought coffee. She had hugged Maya. Maya had thought it was one of the rare moments when her mother was finally trying to reconnect. Now she wondered what Linda had really been doing. Maya picked up her phone. She called her mother. Linda answered quickly. "Maya. Did you come to my office last month?" A pause. "Yes." "Why?" "I told you. I wanted to see you." "Did you access my files?" Another pause. "No." Maya closed her eyes. "Mom, please don't lie." Linda's voice changed. "You are becoming paranoid." "He always does." "Did you give Daniel anything?" "So you decided to destroy my company?" "Anything?" "I didn't destroy anything." Maya's heart sank. Maya stood. "Mom, then what did you do?" Linda finally spoke. Linda could not answer. "You don't understand what is happening." Maya ended the call. She stood alone in the office. "I was trying to protect the family." She felt completely exhausted. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Her own mother had been involved. From what? The person
From
who was
losing
supposed
everything,
to protect her had helped the
Maya
people
laughed
trying to take
sadly.
away everything she had built.
Maya
Linda
returned
began
to her
crying.
desk.
Daniel
She
made
opened
the
mistakes.
acquisition documents. The final payment was still listed. $47 million. But underneath it was a new condition. If the ownership dispute was not resolved within 30 days, the buyer could cancel the agreement. 30 days. That was all she had. And if the deal failed, Maya would not simply lose money. She would lose years of work. Her employees could lose their jobs. Her partners could lose everything. And her family would probably tell everyone that Maya had failed exactly as they expected. That thought hurt more than she wanted to admit. For the first time in years, Maya cried. Not loudly. She simply sat at her desk with her hands covering her face. She thought about being 8 years old. She thought about Daniel's awards. She thought about her father calling her dumb. She thought about her mother telling her to choose a safer life. She thought about every night she had worked alone. Every mistake. Every sacrifice. Every time she had wanted to quit. Now, when success was finally within reach, the people closest to her were trying to pull it away. Maya felt trapped. Then her phone rang. It was the acquisition company's legal team. She answered. Hello. A man's voice spoke calmly. Ms. Carter, there has been another development. Maya sat up. What happened? We received a formal claim from your brother. Maya's face went pale. What claim? He is stating that he helped create the original technology. Maya closed her eyes. Daniel had taken the next step. The man continued. He is asking for a significant ownership percentage. How much? There was a pause. 25%. Maya almost laughed. 25% of $47 million. More than $11 million. Daniel wanted $11 million for an idea he had once called useless. But the worst part was still coming. The lawyer said, he has submitted supporting documents. Maya's heart dropped. What documents? Emails. Notes. Early development records. Maya stood. Those documents are fake. We understand your position. You need to understand that I created this. We need proof. Maya looked around her office. Proof. That was what she needed. But many of her original files were gone. She felt the walls closing in. Then the lawyer said something unexpected. There is one document we have not been able to verify. What document? A signed agreement from 6 years ago. Maya frowned. I never signed an agreement with Daniel. Not with Daniel. Then who? The lawyer hesitated. With your parents. Maya froze. My parents? Yes. The lawyer continued. It appears your parents signed something concerning your company before it was officially formed. Maya's breathing became shallow. What does it say? We cannot tell you yet. We need to confirm its authenticity. Where did you get it? Your brother submitted it. Maya's hand tightened around the phone. Daniel had found an old agreement. An agreement her parents had signed before Maya's company became successful. And if that document was real, it could change everything. The call ended. Maya remained standing. She looked at the old photograph on her desk. Then she remembered something. 6 years earlier, when she had first started the company, her father had asked her to sign several papers. He had said they were only for tax purposes. Maya had trusted him. She had never read every page. Her father had told her not to worry. Suddenly, she remembered the way he had smiled that day. At the time, she had thought he was helping. Now she wondered if he had been preparing for this moment all along. Maya opened the bottom drawer of her desk. Inside was an old box. She had kept it for years. Tax papers. Receipts. Contracts. Old notebooks. She began searching through them. Her hands shook as she pulled out one folder. Then another. Nothing. Then, at the bottom, she found a yellow envelope. Her father's handwriting was on the front. Maya stared at it. She had never opened it. Slowly, she tore it apart. Inside was a copy of an old agreement. Maya read the first page. Then the second. Her face went completely still. The agreement claimed that her parents had a financial interest in the company. But there was something strange. The signature on the final page was supposed to be hers. Maya stared at it. It looked like her name. But she had never signed that document. Someone had forged her signature. And there was one more name beneath hers. Victor Hale. Maya's heart stopped. Victor had not joined her company 2 years ago by accident. Victor Hale's name
He
on
had
the
been
old agreement
connected to it from the
for
beginning.
several seconds,
And now Maya
she could
finally
not move.
understood the
room
terrifying
around her
truth.
seemed strangely
The people
quiet.
fighting to take her
6 years.
$47 million
That was
had
how
been
long
preparing
Victor
for
had
this
been
moment
connected
long
to her
before
company.
she ever knew the money
Not
existed.
2 years. Not since the company became successful. 6 years. Before the company even had a name. Maya looked again at the signature beneath the agreement. Her name was there. But it was not her signature. She knew every detail of her own handwriting. The signature looked close. Almost perfect. But there was one small difference. The final letter was wrong. Maya had always made it with a short curve. The signature on the paper had a longer line. Someone had copied it. Someone had forged it. She took pictures of every page. Then she called the only person she trusted with something this serious. Her attorney, Sarah Mitchell. Sarah answered after 2 rings. Maya. I need you to come to my office. Is something wrong? Yes. How serious? Maya looked at the agreement. Very serious. Sarah arrived less than an hour later. Maya placed the document in front of her. Sarah read it without speaking. When she reached the signature page, her expression changed. Where did you get this? It was hidden in an old folder. Did you sign this? No. Are you sure? Maya looked directly at her. I would remember giving my parents 25% of my company. Sarah nodded. She carefully placed the document inside a clear folder. Do not touch it again. Why? Because this may become evidence. Maya sat down. So my parents forged my signature. Maybe. And Victor helped them. We don't know that yet. Maya looked frustrated. But his name is here. That tells us he was involved somehow. It does not tell us exactly what he did. Sarah pulled out her phone. We need to move carefully. Maya nodded. For the first time, she felt something she had not felt in days. Hope. Not because the problem was solved. It was far from solved. But now she had something. Evidence. And evidence could change everything. Sarah made several calls. She contacted a forensic document expert. Then she contacted the acquisition company's legal team. Finally, she asked Maya for every old record she still had. Maya opened her storage room. Together, they searched through boxes. Old notebooks. Receipts. Emails. Meeting notes. Handwritten plans. Maya had kept almost everything. Her parents had taken some files. Victor had taken others. But they had not taken everything. At midnight, Maya found an old laptop. It had belonged to her when she first started the company. She had not turned it on in years. Sarah looked at it. Can it still work? Maya plugged it in. The screen flickered. Then it turned on. Maya smiled. She remembered using that laptop every night. Before employees. Before investors. Before millions of dollars. Before anyone believed her idea had value. The files opened slowly. Then Maya found something. An old folder named Original Project. Inside were hundreds of files. Sarah leaned closer. This could be important. Maya opened one. It was dated 6 years ago. Another. 5 years ago. Another. 4 years ago. The dates created a clear timeline. Maya had been developing the technology long before Victor officially joined the company. More importantly, she found an email. It was from Daniel. The message was dated 5 years ago. It said, Dad, she is still working on that project. I don't think she knows how valuable it could become. Maya stared at the screen. Daniel knew. He had known. Sarah read the message. Save this. Maya copied it to 3 separate drives. Then she found another email. This one was from Robert. It was sent to Victor. The subject line was, Maya's future. Maya opened it. The message was short. Robert had asked Victor whether there was a legal way to secure part of Maya's future earnings. Maya felt sick. Her father had been planning around her success before she had even succeeded. Sarah looked at her. This changes things. Maya nodded. But we still need to know what that agreement means. Sarah looked again at the forged signature. We will. The next morning, Maya received an unexpected call. What issue? It was from the acquisition company. Your brother has asked for a settlement. They wanted an emergency meeting. How much? Maya arrived with $11.75 million. 3 executives were waiting. Maya almost smiled. The room was cold and quiet. Daniel wanted exactly 25%. Michael Grant. Michael continued. We have offered to withdraw his claim if you pay him. Maya waited. Maya shook her head. No, we are not cancelling the acquisition yet. You are certain? Maya let out a slow breath. Yes. But the deal is suspended. I will not pay someone to stop lying about me. Until the ownership dispute is resolved. Maya with quiet approval. Maya nodded. The meeting ended. We can prove the agreement is fake. But outside the building, Maya noticed a black car parked across the street. We need independent confirmation. She recognized it. Daniel was sitting inside, Sarah said. He watched her walk toward her car. There is another issue. Out. Maya. She stopped. Daniel walked closer. You should take the deal. What deal? You give me the money. I walk away. You forged documents. Daniel's face tightened. You can't prove that. I don't have to prove it to you. He laughed. You think you're winning? Maya looked at him. No. Daniel smiled. That is good. I think you are making a mistake. His smile disappeared. What mistake? You keep assuming I am still the person you grew up with. Daniel stared at her. Maya walked away. But she did not feel victorious. Not yet. She knew Daniel was dangerous when he was afraid. And now he was afraid. That evening, Maya returned home. There was an envelope under her apartment door. No name. No address. She opened it carefully. Inside was a single photograph. It showed Robert and Victor meeting in a hotel 6 years earlier. On the back was a handwritten sentence. Your brother was never the one who started this. Maya's heart began racing. There was another photograph. This one showed Linda. She was standing outside a bank. Next to her was a woman Maya had never seen before. Maya looked closer. The woman was holding a folder. The same yellow folder Maya had just found. Maya turned the photograph over. Another message was written on the back. Ask your mother what happened to the original contract. Maya sat down. She immediately called Linda. Her mother answered. Maya. Where is the original contract? Silence. Linda's breathing changed. What contract? The one from 6 years ago. Another pause. Maya, I don't know what you're talking about. You know exactly what I mean. Linda said nothing. Maya's voice became softer. Mom, someone gave me photographs. Linda suddenly whispered. Who? Maya did not answer. Her mother began crying. Maya, please. Please what? You don't understand. Then help me understand. Linda took a shaky breath. There are things your father did that I never wanted. Maya's eyes filled with tears. What did he do? Linda did not answer. Mom. I was scared. Of Dad? Yes. Maya froze. Her mother had never said that before. Linda continued. He told me he was protecting the family. From me. No. Her voice broke. From someone else. Maya stood. Who? Linda was silent. Then she said something that made Maya's blood run cold. Victor was not working for your father. Maya frowned. Then who was he working for? Linda began to cry. Before she could answer, the call suddenly ended. Maya called back. No answer. She called again. Still nothing. Then her phone buzzed. A message appeared from an unknown number. Stop asking questions, Maya. Another message followed. The $47 million is not the only thing at risk. Maya stared at the screen. Then a third message arrived. It contained a photograph. Maya opened it. Her face went pale. The photograph showed her office, taken from inside. And in the corner of the image was a man standing near her desk. It was Ethan. Maya slowly lowered the phone. For days, she had believed Ethan was helping her uncover the truth. Now she wondered if he had been helping someone else. She looked at the old laptop. The evidence. The forged contract. The photographs. The missing files. Everything suddenly felt connected. But there was one question she could not answer. If Ethan was involved, why had he warned her about the leak? Maya looked toward the locked door of her apartment. Then she heard 3 quiet knocks. She froze. Nobody was supposed to know where she was. The knocks came again. Maya slowly walked toward the door. She looked through the peephole. Maya kept her hand away from the door. Standing
Sarah's
outside
warning
was
repeated
Ethan
in her mind.
But he was
I
not
know
alone.
who she is.
Beside him
3
stood the
people
same
stood
woman
out
from the
outside.
photograph.
Ethan,
The woman who
the
had been
unknown
holding
woman,
the original
and
contract.
someone Maya could not
and in
see
her
clearly
hands was
behind
a folder
them.
Maya had
Maya
never
looked
seen
through the
before.
peephole again.
Sarah's voice
The woman
suddenly
held a
came
thick
through
brown
Maya's
folder
phone.
against her
Maya,
chest.
don't
It
open
looked
that door.
old. Very
Maya
old.
stared at Ethan.
Sarah was still
Then
on the
Sarah
phone.
said 4
Do
words
not
that
open the
changed
door,
everything.
she said.
I know
Maya
who she
whispered.
is. Then what should she do? Give me 2 minutes. Maya stepped away from the door. The knocking stopped. Then Ethan spoke from the hallway. Maya, please. You need to hear this. Maya did not answer. Ethan continued. She has the original contract. Maya looked at the phone. Sarah said nothing. Then Maya asked, who is she? The woman finally spoke. My name is Rebecca Hale. Maya froze. Hale. The same last name as Victor. Sarah suddenly said, Maya, listen carefully. Maya waited. Rebecca is Victor's sister. Maya's eyes widened. The woman outside continued. Victor is not the person you think he is. Maya looked at the door. What does that mean? Rebecca answered. It means your family was never his real target. Maya's heart began racing. She unlocked the door. Sarah immediately protested. Maya. But the door was already open. Rebecca stood in the hallway. She looked tired. Not dangerous. Not angry. Just exhausted. Ethan stood beside her. He looked nervous. Maya stared at him. Why didn't you tell me? Ethan lowered his eyes. Because I was trying to protect you. Maya shook her head. Everyone keeps saying that. Rebecca stepped forward. May she come inside? Maya hesitated. Then she moved aside. Rebecca entered. Ethan followed. Maya locked the door. Rebecca placed the old folder on the table. This is the original agreement. Maya looked at it. The one with my forged signature. Rebecca nodded. But there is something you need to know. Maya sat down. Rebecca opened the folder. The document was created by your father. Maya's face hardened. I knew it. But your father did not create it alone. Rebecca pulled out another paper. He worked with my brother. Maya looked at Ethan. Victor. Ethan nodded. But why? Rebecca took a slow breath. Because Victor believed your father had stolen something from him. Maya frowned. What? Rebecca looked at her. An idea. Maya said nothing. Rebecca explained that years ago, Victor had been working on a technology project of his own. Robert had been one of his early business contacts. Robert eventually left Victor's project. Then, according to Rebecca, he began helping Maya develop something similar. Maya shook her head. That doesn't make sense. Rebecca nodded. I know. She pulled out another file. This is why. Inside were old emails. Victor had sent Robert several messages. He accused him of taking his work. Robert denied it. The dispute became bitter. Then Maya's project appeared. Maya stared at the documents. Are you saying my company was based on Victor's idea? No. Rebecca looked directly at her. Your work was yours. Then why was Victor involved? Because he believed your father had used him. Maya looked confused. Rebecca continued. Victor spent years trying to get proof. And he used my company. Yes. Maya felt angry. So everyone used her. Rebecca lowered her eyes. I am sorry. Maya looked at Ethan. And you? Ethan finally spoke. I discovered Victor's connection 6 months ago. Why didn't you tell me? Because I thought he was planning to destroy the company. And my parents. Maya stood. They agreed to give Victor part of the company. I know. Maya looked at the old agreement again. I made the wrong choice. The pieces began to connect. Maya looked away. Her parents had created a legal agreement but involving her company. Then Rebecca placed another document on the table. It. This is the important had stayed part. Close, waiting Maya for his chance. Down. It was there was still record. Something missing. The document Maya showed looked that Robert had received money from Victor years earlier. Rebecca's eyes widened. Because my brother is dying. Rebecca answered Maya quietly. Went silent. $2 million. Dying. Rebecca Maya felt sick. He has been sick for months. Maya felt the anger inside her weaken. Rebecca continued. He knows what he did was wrong. He wants the money. No. Rebecca shook her head. He wants the truth. She pushed another document toward Maya. It was a signed statement from Victor. In it, Victor admitted that Maya had created the technology. He admitted that he had no ownership claim. He also admitted that the agreement involving Maya's parents was based on a forged signature. Maya read every word. Her hands trembled. This could save the company. Rebecca nodded. That is why I came. Maya looked at Ethan. Why did you come with her? Ethan answered honestly. Because I knew you would not believe me. Maya looked at the statement again. For the first time in weeks, she felt hope. But she knew the fight was not over. Daniel still had his claim. Her parents still had their story. And Victor's evidence had to survive legal review. Sarah arrived 30 minutes later. She examined the documents. Then she smiled. This is exactly what we needed. The next week became a blur. Sarah submitted the documents. The forensic expert confirmed that Maya's signature had been copied. The old emails proved Maya had developed the technology years before Daniel claimed involvement. Victor's statement destroyed Daniel's ownership claim. The acquisition company reopened negotiations. For the first time, the $47 million deal was moving forward. Then came the final meeting. Maya sat across from Michael Grant and the legal team. Sarah sat beside her. Michael looked at the documents. We have completed our review. Maya waited. The ownership dispute has been resolved. Maya held her breath. The acquisition will proceed. She closed her eyes. For a moment, she could not speak. The $47 million was real. She had done it. Not because her parents believed in her. Not because Daniel supported her. She had done it despite all of them. But there was one thing left to do. Maya wanted her family to hear the truth from her. That evening, she invited Robert, Linda, and Daniel to dinner. They arrived expecting another argument. Robert looked confident. Daniel looked impatient. Linda looked nervous. Maya sat across from them. She placed a folder on the table. Daniel looked at it. What is this? Maya said nothing. Sarah was sitting beside her. Robert frowned. Why is your lawyer here? Because this is no longer a family argument. Daniel opened the folder. His face changed. He saw the acquisition documents. Then he saw the amount. $47 million. He stared at the page. Linda covered her mouth. Robert did not move. Maya watched them quietly. Daniel finally looked up. You actually got it. Maya nodded. All of it. Robert's voice became weak. When? The deal closed yesterday. Daniel looked at his father. Then at his mother. Then back at Maya. He slowly smiled. Well, then maybe we can finally talk about the 25%. Maya almost laughed. She opened another folder. Inside were copies of the emails. The forged agreement. The bank records. And the messages between Robert and Daniel. Daniel's smile disappeared. Maya slid the documents across the table. You can have your 25%. Daniel stared at her. Really? Maya nodded. Of the consequences. Robert's face went pale. Maya looked at her father. You called her dumb. She looked at Linda. You said she needed Daniel. Then she looked at Daniel. You planned to take $11 million from her. Daniel stood. This is ridiculous. No, Maya said calmly. This is the truth. She placed Victor's signed statement on the table. Daniel read it. His face changed completely. The room became silent. Then Robert whispered. Where did you get that? Maya looked directly at him. You should ask Victor. Robert's hands began shaking. Because he finally understood. Maya had not only secured the $47 million. She had uncovered everything. But before anyone could speak, Maya's phone rang. She looked at the screen. It was Rebecca. Maya answered. Hello. Rebecca's voice was trembling. Maya, there is something else. Maya stood. What happened? Rebecca took a breath. Victor woke up. Maya frowned. He wants to speak to you. Why? There was a long silence. Then Rebecca said. Because he says the documents you found are not the whole story. Maya's heart stopped. What does he mean? Rebecca's voice became almost a whisper. He says your father did not steal the original idea. Maya froze. Maya
Then
could
who
not
did?
speak.
Rebecca
Rebecca's words
answered.
stayed in her mind.
Your mother.
Your mother. For several seconds, Maya simply stood beside the dinner table. Robert looked confused. Linda looked terrified. Daniel looked from one person to another. What does she mean? He asked. Maya slowly lowered the phone. She says Victor wants to speak with her. Robert immediately stood. No. Maya looked at him. No. You don't need to hear anything else from that man. Maya studied her father's face. He looked afraid. Not angry. Not disappointed. Afraid. That told Maya more than his words ever could. She turned to Sarah. Can the call be recorded? Sarah nodded. If Victor agrees. Maya called Rebecca again. A few seconds later, another voice came through the phone. It was weak. But Maya recognized it. Victor. Maya. Yes. There was a long pause. I owe you the truth. Maya sat down. Then tell her. Victor took a slow breath. The first idea was not stolen by your father. Maya looked at Linda. Her mother was crying silently. Victor continued. Your mother found it. Maya frowned. What does that mean? Years ago, before your company existed, your mother worked with a small research group. She found a way to improve a technology that several companies were studying. Maya looked shocked. She never told anyone. She told your father. Robert shook his head. That is not what happened. Victor's voice became stronger. Robert, you know exactly what happened. Robert said nothing. Victor continued. Your mother wanted to develop the idea. Your father wanted to sell it. Linda finally spoke. I was trying to help the family. Maya looked at her. By hiding it from her. Linda lowered her head. Victor continued. Your mother eventually gave the research to Maya. Maya froze. To me. Yes. Victor explained that Linda had believed Maya had the patience and ability to turn the idea into something real. But Linda had been afraid. She knew Robert would try to control it. So she quietly gave Maya the early research. Maya remembered that period. Her mother had once given her an old box of papers. She had called it useless research. Maya had never known where it came from. Those papers had become the foundation for her first prototype. Her eyes filled with tears. Why didn't she tell me? Victor answered. Because she was afraid your father would take it. Maya looked at Linda. Is that true? Linda nodded. I was scared. Maya's voice trembled. So you let everyone think I was stupid? Linda cried harder. I thought if they underestimated you, they would leave you alone. Maya stared at her mother. It was the first explanation that made any sense. But it did not erase the pain. You let Dad call me dumb. Linda covered her face. I know. You let Daniel laugh at me. I know. You watched me believe there was something wrong with me. I know. Maya's voice broke. Why? Linda looked at her daughter. Because I thought protecting you meant staying silent. The room became quiet. Maya looked down. For years, she had believed her mother simply did not value her. Now she learned that her mother had been afraid. But fear did not excuse the damage. Maya looked at Robert. And you? Robert remained silent. Sarah stepped forward. Mr. Carter, the documents show that you tried to claim ownership of Maya's company. Robert looked away. Daniel suddenly spoke. So what happens now? Everyone looked at him. Daniel sounded nervous. If Maya got the money, does that mean she can just cut everyone off? Maya looked at him. Yes. Daniel stared. You wouldn't. Maya almost smiled. Why wouldn't she? Daniel shook his head. We are family. Maya heard the familiar words again. Family. The word that had been used every time they wanted something. She stood. Family is supposed to protect each other. Daniel said nothing. Family is supposed to celebrate each other's success. Still nothing. Family does not call one child stupid so another child can feel important. Daniel's face tightened. Maya continued. And family does not decide how to spend someone else's money. Daniel looked at the floor. For the first time, he had no answer. Robert finally spoke. Maya, we made mistakes. She looked at him. You made choices. Maya shook her head. Robert swallowed. No, I was trying to help Daniel. She was going to leave them because of what they did. Maya's voice was calm. The room became silent. That was the problem. Maya did not feel angry anymore. Daniel stood. She felt you think
tired.
You're better than us
Tired
because you got
proving
lucky.
Herself.
Maya
Tired
looked
of
defending
him.
every
Lucky.
choice. Tired of
She
waiting for
pointed
people
toward the
who had
folder.
never respected
That
her
company
to suddenly
took
understand
7 years
her.
of work.
She turned toward
Daniel
Sarah.
shook his head.
Is everything
You
ready?
had help.
Sarah
Yes.
nodded.
Maya
Maya
looked
handed
at
her a
Linda.
document. She gave me
was
the
a
first
formal
research.
notice.
Robert
Then
frowned.
she looked at Sarah.
What is that?
She helped protect
Maya
my
looked at
company.
him. It says
Then
none of
she
you
looked
have any
toward the
ownership
phone.
in my company.
Even Victor gave me
Daniel's
the truth when it
face went
mattered.
pale. It also
Her eyes
says
returned
Daniel's
to
claim
Daniel,
is withdrawn
but none of you
permanently.
built it.
Daniel stared at
became
her.
angry.
And the money.
You're really going to abandon
Maya
your
shook her
family
head.
over money.
You are not getting it. Daniel slammed his hand against the table. You owe me. No. I am your brother. And you tried to take what wasn't yours. Daniel looked at Robert. Dad. Robert did not answer. He knew the fight was over. The family had nothing left to threaten Maya with. Their last hope had been the belief that she would eventually feel guilty. But guilt no longer controlled her. A few months later, Daniel's business collapsed. Maya did not celebrate. She simply refused to save it. Robert and Linda had to sell their expensive house and move into a smaller one. Maya did not pay their bills. She did not punish them either. She simply stopped rescuing them. That was enough. Her company continued to grow after the acquisition. Maya stayed with the new company as a senior partner. She also started a small fund to help young people build businesses without family money or connections. She remembered what it felt like to be told that her ideas were worthless. She wanted other people to have someone who believed in them. Months later, Maya visited Linda. Her mother looked older. She held 2 cups of tea. They sat quietly. Linda finally spoke. I am proud of you. Maya looked at her. The words were simple. But they came too late. Still, Maya did not reject them. Thank you. Linda looked down. Does that make anything better? Maya thought for a moment. No. Linda nodded. I understand. But it helps me let go. Linda began to cry. Maya reached across the table. She did not hug her. Not yet. But she placed her hand over Linda's. It was enough. Later that evening, Maya returned home. She opened the drawer where she kept the old family photograph. The same photograph she had looked at when everything began. She stared at the people in it. Her younger self was smiling. Daniel stood beside her. Robert had his arm around both children. Linda stood behind them. For years, Maya had looked at that photograph and wondered why she had never been enough. Now she understood. The problem had never been her. She placed the photograph back in the drawer. Then her phone rang. It was Sarah. "Maya, there is one more thing." Maya smiled. "Another surprise." "Maybe." "What happened?" "The acquisition company wants to make you an offer." Maya laughed. "They already bought the company." "This is different." "How?" Sarah paused. "They want you to become the face of the new division." Maya looked out the window. "And the salary?" Sarah laughed. "You might want to sit down." Maya smiled. "I'm sitting." Sarah gave her the number. Maya listened. Then she laughed again. Not because of the money. Because she remembered the words her father had spoken years earlier. "You have no future." Now, she finally knew the truth. Her future had never needed their permission. The next morning, Maya walked into her new office. A large glass wall overlooked the city. Her name was printed on a small plaque beside the door. She stopped and looked at it. For years, she had worked in silence. Now people knew her name. But she did not need them to. Her greatest victory was not the $47 million. It was the fact that she no longer cared whether her parents thought she was smart. She knew who she was. And that was enough. Before leaving that evening, Maya opened her laptop. A new email had arrived. The sender was unknown. The subject line made her stop. "There is one person your family never told you about." Maya opened it. There was only one sentence inside. "Your company was not the first thing your parents hid from you." Below it was an old photograph. Maya stared at it. The photograph showed her parents standing outside a hospital. In their arms was a baby. Maya's face went pale. She recognized the hospital. She recognized the year. And she recognized the child. It was taken 3 years before Maya was born. Her hand slowly moved toward the screen. For the first time since receiving the $47 million, Maya felt something she had not felt in years. Fear. Because suddenly, she realized the biggest secret her family had kept from her had nothing to do with money. It was about who she really was.